Over the years, I have heard many people saying that when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, they only played or play the numbered quote-unquote main titles. And while that is their own choice to make, today I will be discussing why, if you actually want to understand the story of Kingdom Hearts, the spin-offs are actually an absolute must when it comes to the games. And I'll be going over them separately, also explaining why they actually matter. So let's start with, in my opinion at least for now, the most important out of all of the spin-offs, which is the first one, which is of course Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. While many people completely ignore this game due to the gameplay, no one really can deny that it's an essential and crucial part to the overall story, with it introducing enemies such as the organization and providing some much needed character development for Riku. The best way I could explain it is this game is basically the bridge between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and if you decide to skip this one, well my guy, you're basically fucked. Why? Well, let's just put it lightly and say that you will not understand KH2 almost at all, and will be confused AF on a lot of key elements of the story, such as the beginning of the game, and pretty much the entire story if I think about it, except from the Disney worlds. And this leads me into 358/2 Days, which, to be honest, is still fairly important to the story, but not nearly as much as Chain of Memories is. Although 358/2 Days focuses on Roxas and his time in Organization 13, if you jump into KH2 without completing this one at first, you're going to be left wondering who is this Roxas kid, and the entire prologue of the game, as well as some other scenes where he appears, are just gonna be, you're just gonna be like, what the fuck? Dude, who is this kid? And 358/2 Days is also beneficial for understanding what goes on through and especially at the ending of KH3. So, still a very important one nonetheless, and with that said, we could go ahead and move on to Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep is a prequel which takes place before the events of Kingdom Hearts 1. It tells the story of Ventus, Aqua, and Terra, and if you want to hear the full story of the game, I suggest you take a look at this video right here that is going to be in the description and on the card right now. The thing with this game is that it shows us what our main characters were like as kids, and it also explains a lot about the real bad guy, which is Master Xehanort. It introduces us to characters like Ericus and Vanitas, which, while they may not seem as the most relevant characters at this point, they do in fact have an impact on the story, especially Vanitas more so than Master Ericus. And if you somehow decide to skip this one, well, you pretty much guessed it. I mean, you're gonna be left wondering a lot of things, and there will be a lot of shit you won't be able to put together and understand at all, which would lead you to questions like, who are these three? Who is this Sensei Wu type dude? Or how does Mr. Bald fit into this? Or what is the purpose of this edgy version of Sora? So yeah, Birth by Sleep is a game with, in my opinion, a very underrated yet impactful story. However, the next one up is a game that I am sad to say has almost a meaningless story, which is, drumroll please, Kingdom Hearts Recoded. You probably knew this was going to happen. As many of us fans know, this game has almost, keyword almost, no real impact on the future of the series. My advice for this one would still be to watch the cutscenes if you don't feel like playing it through the DS, which I know a lot of people don't want to deal with. And the sad thing is, you don't even need to watch all of the cutscenes. There are only a couple of cutscenes that actually matter, unlike the rest of the game, which is no joke almost a replay of Kingdom Hearts 1. From the most useless to arguably the most confusing Kingdom Hearts game in terms of story, Dream Drop Distance follows the story of Riku and Sora as they make their way through the Mark of Mastery exam. This game tells us that Xehanort is the big bad bald motherfucker, and that he can time travel and has also multiple versions or clones of himself, whatever you want to refer them to, whatever you, fuck, I'm leaving this shit anyway. Whatever you want to refer to them as, something that will be a very big part of the story of KH3. And while it is nowhere near as important as Chain of Memories, it gives us more insight into what is actually Xehanort's plan, and it leads us directly into KH3. And while KH3 Chain of Memories was the bridge between KH1 and KH2, 2, Cage Dream Drop Distance is pretty much the bridge between Cage 2 and Cage 3. Now, we get to Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep 0.2, which is a short game that tells us Aqua's story in the realm of darkness. If you played Birth by Sleep, you would know that she ended up there towards the end of the game after her fight with Terranort. This game takes place right after Dream Drop Distance, and while it may not be the most essential one to play, it provides us with some extra little details that will play a certain role in Cage 3, of course, when it comes to saving Aqua and getting her back from the realm of darkness. And now we reach the mobile era.
Congratulations!
Games like Union Cross, Dark Road, and Unchained Key, while they may have seemed insignificant at first, really do matter towards the end of Cage 3, and especially when we're going into Cage 4, whenever that actually comes out. These games tell us the story, which takes place about 100 years before Birth by Sleep. It tells us a lot about characters like Ventus, the human form of Marluxia, who was named Lorium, and even Xehanort, while also introducing some new important characters like Strelitzia, Luxu, which turns out to be Zikbar, and also the main bad guy for this new saga is also introduced, and that is of course the Master of Masters. Fucking pussy. And we can't also forget Melody of Memory, which pretty much tells us the entire story from Kyrie's perspective with the help of some good music. Now it's actually time to tell me in the comments which spin-off, quote unquote, even though I don't like using that word, Cage title do you think matters the most? As always, thank you for watching this video. If you like what I do here on YouTube, please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel. As always, thank you so much for watching. Until the next video stream, bye bye!